opening segment, we were chatting a bit about cricket, seeing what happened at the T20 World Cup and how things unfolded and what you can expect going forward. But right now, we're taking it back to the oval ball, or let's say more the round ball, the bigger one. This time, the leather will be kicked around in Qatar 2022, where the Football World Cup will be taking place. Right now, I'm joined by Ghanaian based journalist Micky Junior, who's going to give us insight on how exactly the African teams have been preparing for the World Cup. Well, it's going to be an interesting one. As many of you know, that all the African teams, for the first time ever, will be coached by African coaches. Something that we can applaud the African administrators for. However, it will have to come with results with the World Cup just over a week ago, just over a week away. Good afternoon or good evening, Micky. I beg your pardon. I hope Friday's treating you well. Thank you for joining me on Salam
Yeah,
Media.
yes, yes. Good evening from Ghana. Everything is fine here. The weather is good, and it's a pleasure to join you on your show this evening.
Micky, let's get straight into it. The Football World Cup is here, a tournament that many people who would have said that Ghana would have been the team, the first team to take Africa for that matter to new heights here in South Africa. Now we've got Qatar 2022. Who's your team that will be flying the African flag high at this year's World Cup?
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. Assessing all the five teams for the World Cup, the five African teams for the World Cup, you realize that, we just hoping for the very best because some of them are in top groups. I'm just hoping that they can come out from it. And then once they are out from the group stage, going to the round of 16 stage, the quarterfinals, we can hope that, they can produce something and then rewrite history in world football when it comes to African teams. I think that obviously I'm a Ghanaian, so I'm rooting for Ghana to go high or to go very far. But we all know the group is quite tough because there is Uruguay, there is Portugal, and there is South Korea as well. All of them are strong teams. They are very, very good players and good coaches coming in through. Also, we can talk about the likes of Senegal, the likes of Morocco, Cameroon. All of them are coming in strong. So I know that it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough and challenging for them. But I believe that when they prepare well, they assemble, a very, very good squad. They should go far. So as somebody who loves African football, it's going to be tough actually to predict or to tell who I'm really rooting for. But surely being a Ghanaian, I have to go for Ghana. But I wish all the other African teams the best as well.
I love the patriotism there from you. And just looking at Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and the Korean Republic. Quite a grudge match in place here for Ghana when they do face Uruguay. Do you think that this will be Ghana's second bite of the cherry to knock Uruguay out of the World Cup?
Yeah, judging from what happened in 2010 in your country, which I happened to be there during that particular game, a lot of people were disappointed. I will not say only Ghanaians, but I think that even South Africans were supporting Ghana on that night. It was more like an African thing that Ghana was represented. So, since then, there has been that revenge on the minds of Ghanaians that we're really looking forward for another chance to play Uruguay. And I think that this World Cup in Qatar comes really at the right time or the right stage because this was a World Cup that happened. The memories are still fresh in the minds of the oldies or people who love football at the global stage. So I think that it's going to be a very, very difficult game. I saw the squad that Uruguay's coach announced, and then we are still waiting for Ghana's squad. But whoever gets the chance to represent the country, I think that will still carry that revenge thing at the back of their mind for us to really go at Uruguay, make sure that we win that game and we win comfortably. Though it's going to be tough, but I think that we have the men to represent Ghana.
Most definitely. And then, just looking at the other groups that we do have African nations in, Group G is going to be a bit of a tough one for Cameroon to get out of. You've got one of the best teams, performing teams at a World Cup, Brazil, that is in that group, followed by Serbia and Switzerland. both teams that have performed very, very well in previous World Cups. So, looking at Cameroon's team, the quality that comes out of that team, do you think they have what it takes to find their way out of Group G?
I mean, it's tough. Honestly, I look at that group. It's quite dicey. Most people are only looking at probably Brazil, but let's not forget that Serbia also have some exciting, talent in that squad. The same as Switzerland. So I think that it's going to be tough for Cameroon, but for sure, Brazil are going to top the group. They, we all see the quality in that side. Recently, they played a friendly against Ghana. We saw how comfortably they taught the Black Stars the lesson. So I think that
Mm.
probably Cameroon's coach, I mean the technical team, have to, watch that game they play against Ghana. If they can be able to, work around the clock and probably get a decent score line, maybe a draw should be enough. But honestly, I think that it's tough. It's tough, but for Cameroon to come out from that group, it means that against Serbia and Switzerland, they really need to work hard and probably try and then pick up wins from that game. Well, who knows? Maybe they can surprise Brazil, but World Cup is always a World Cup. It comes with a lot of surprises. But I think that Group G is tough. I am slightly seeing Cameroon going through if they're able to work their ass. I mean, they're able to put their stuff together. Maybe they can be able to put through.
Yeah, very, very hard work that lies ahead of them. I think that just a W against Serbia, W against Switzerland, and maybe a draw against Brazil will see them make their way through, make their way through to the knockout stages and out of the group. But then moving on and
Yes.
just looking at Group F, we've got Morocco here, and coming up against Belgium and coming up against the finalists of the last World Cup, and also Canada, taking no credit away from Canada. They have fought their way to be in this World Cup, and it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be an interesting one. But do you think that Morocco has what it takes to find their way out of this group? And what do you make of this Moroccan team?
Yeah, honestly, I saw their squad, yes, was released yesterday by my very good friend Walid Regadra, their new coach. Earlier, I was even speaking with him. He told me how, prepared and how he's looking forward to that World Cup games coming up against the likes of Belgium, Croatia, and Canada. Honestly, I saw that this is a group that is open. Belgium, at the world stage, sometimes they flatter to deceive, but I should think that Morocco should pull through with the likes of Ziyech coming in. I still think that they have a quality in that squad. They have young players that they are going to blend with the oldies or the old players, and for sure, they need to pull through. For Croatia, yes, they were in the final not so long ago against France, so it means that people are going to, in a way, judge them to be one of the favorites to go through from that group. But for Canada,
Mm.
well, people would love to write them over. I don't think that Canada should stand Morocco. So obviously, I'm going for Belgium and Morocco going through. But let's also keep eyes on Croatia.
No, definitely, definitely. And then, looking forward to the other games in the World Cup. I mean, the other groups. Looking at Group D, Tunisia finding their way against France, the champions, um, Australia and Denmark. Do you see Tunisia sneaking through this group?
Honestly, Tunisia, out of the African teams, I mean, skeptical about them, but I
Mm.
should think that against France, maybe people may say that they don't stand any chance. That's fine because France are still the world champions. Though they are missing a couple of key players, they still have a decent squad. So no problem if they should lose that game, maybe. But against Denmark, against Australia, Tunisia should be able to. Because if
Mm.
honestly, it should be like Senegal or maybe Ghana or other country, they should be
Yeah.
favorites against Denmark and Australia. But for Tunisia, I saw a couple of their games, and at the stage when you need them the most, that's when they deceive you. So I
Mm.
think that they will need to work very hard. But until now, I honestly don't see them progressing. Maybe it's going to be France and Denmark to go through.
No, it's going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds and see who will flip this one. But looking at Group A, the group with the hosts Qatar, they obviously have an African in their group. It comes in the likes of Senegal. Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and Netherlands in Group A. It's going to be an interesting one to see how this one unfolds. And not taking any credit away from all the other teams, but I think this is the group where an African team can see themselves making their way out of the group. And it should happen fairly easily, looking at the quality of football that Senegal's been playing in the build up to this World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I got the chance to, really assess all the teams there. And, if you are the host nation, mostly people expect you to, in a way, come out from the group. That is
Mm.
when, a lot of fans will attend matches for FIFA, the sponsors, to also get their money. And so I think that with Senegal being in the Ecuador, Netherlands, I saw their squad, and I think that they also have a decent team. Ecuador, most people really not citing them on, but there's one thing about the teams from the other part of the world, the South Americans, North Americans. Sometimes you don't really see the names. You don't really see the
Mm.
big stars names that they come up with, but they play very well. They are very strong physically. In a way, in quotes, they are also like blacks, like yeah. So they are very strong. They play tough football, very good in the air. They challenge, they fight for everything. And so I think that in a group that where we have Senegal, the people
Yeah.
now target Senegal as the hope of Africa for this World Cup. I think that Senegal, I am just hoping that pay the pedigree because they are the reigning champions in Africa. We all expect them to do very well. This is a group that is going to be tough because Qatar maybe may not have the world best players
Mm.
or the quality maybe, but they can also make some surprises because
And you've
sometimes
got the home support
when
behind you.
of course, they are the host nation, and the whole of Qatar, they are carrying that, that hope and that pride and that passion behind it. So I think that it's going to be very tough. But if Senegal should probably pick up a win and maybe a draw,
Mm.
I think that should be enough from that group. Maybe we can think that Senegal can probably beat the likes of Ecuador. Maybe they should beat Qatar as well, and probably they can, find a draw or still beat, Netherlands. We all know with the latest news around Sadio, and we can just be hopeful that maybe he can work out
Yeah.
the magic. Even if he's still not there, they still have the likes of Star Dieng. They still have a strong team. Ghana, where they still have, Dieng and a lot of quality players in that
Mm.
squad. So I should think that Senegal should come up from the group stage. Either
And
being
it's going to be
the runners
interesting, eh?
up, or probably they should.
Mickey, just to see how it unfolds. Sorry to break in there. Mane's injured. However, he has been included in the
Mm.
squad. What's the reasoning behind
Come
that?
again?
Because I'm sure, Mane is injured, but he has still been included in the squad. Do you think that Mane's influence is more than just on the pitch? That's why the coach has included him in the squad.
Yeah, I think that I spoke to other stations earlier. I was saying that even if Sadio cannot even play one game, he still has to be part of the squad because the people in Senegal, the people in Africa now, the world, they see Sadio
Mm.
as a global superstar. He carries the hope, the torch, the light of Senegal, the same way he carries that of Africa.
Yes,
He's the
facts.
reigning best player in Africa now. Ballon
Mm.
d'Or, he came second or third, one of them. So I still feel that he has to be part of the squad. He brings some kind of encouragement. The people, the team, his teammates, his colleagues, they see him to be the light. They see him to be the shining star among them. So in a
Mm.
way, presence there alone can, some sort of serve as a big encouragement and motivation for them. So for me,
Yeah,
I think that
facts.
even if probably he can play maybe just a good game or all of them, we all know what Sadio can do. He can decide games in less than 5 seconds, less than 1 minute,
Mm.
5 minutes, 20 minutes. Sadio can decide a lot. So I still think that his position is the right step. I'm in support of it. And even if he can play just one game, he still has to be part of the squad.
No, definitely. And real quick, very quick, before I do let you go, I'm gonna put your head on the block here. World Cup winner? Who's your money on?
Oh, hi, man. We really put me on the spot, eh?
Come on, quick, fast.
Yeah, It's going to be very, very tough. Assessing all the teams, I think that probably we are going to see the World Cup trophy going to Argentina with Leo Messi
Who
carrying.
somebody's back in that unbeaten run of Argentina. Will that unbeaten run be broken in this World Cup, or will Argentina continue to dominate world football and come through this World Cup unbeaten? You'll have to wait and stay
Yeah, I
tuned
mean,
and see how this Qatar
it's only time that can
2022
tell.
unfolds. Yeah.
It's only time that can tell. But we all know that. I mean, probably this is going to be the last World Cup. We're going to see the likes of Leo, the likes of Ronaldo,
Cristiano.
Cavani, those kind of guys. So I still feel that Messi still has that energy in him. He's still
Mm.
looking good. The body is there. So probably this is going to be his time. Probably.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Mickey, thanks so much for your time this evening and joining me on Salam Media. Look forward to chatting to you actually throughout the course of the World Cup and seeing how this one unfolds. And if you've got your analysis and your predictions on point with Argentina lifting the World Cup trophy in Qatar, we'll have to wait and see to find out. Thanks so much for joining me on Salam Media.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Such an honor having Ghanaian based African football journalist Micky Junior giving us his insights on African teams preparing for the World Cup and who does he have his money on. He says Argentina could go all the way to lift the title in Qatar. Well, my hopes, I will be backing the likes of Brazil, as you've seen on my social media platforms this week, but also we're never ever going to be writing off. Just the likes of France, who's been performing so well, and Argentina not taking any credit away. Or will the old age saying, it's coming home, come to life? Will it really come home? Is England taking the title? We'll have to wait and see. Throw your comments in the comment section below. Let's see how this one unfolds. And maybe at the end of the World Cup, we could be picking one of your names to see who predicted a winner of this World Cup before it even started. From myself and the team here in Robert Sham, Johannesburg, we'd like to greet one and all and thank you so much for tuning in to the show once again. Friday Night Sport with myself, Dakir Dowd, put together by Salilo Makwadiri and Sadiq at the back, putting things together, making it happen so that we have content going to air. Guys and ladies, thank you for tuning in this evening. From myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa